Okay, so we are out on the golf course, but do not worry, we're not playing. I'm going to have a little walk and talk with a special guest. I've got Mal.cope with me this morning. I'm going to have a little chat about the mental side of the game and hopefully unlock a little bit of power on an area of the game that not many people look into. So you're definitely going to want to keep watching. Okay, Malcolm, so at the minute there's a lot of people sat at home watching videos on YouTube, golf swing tips, hopefully some of mine, but there's an area of the game that people really aren't maybe not looking into as much as they should, and it's golf psychology, it's a mental game, it's however you want to brand it.
Yep.
But what we're going to do, hopefully, these little walk and talks and have a chat about this area of the game and give some people some little drills they can do in lockdown at home to improve an area that we certainly believe will make a huge difference to their game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why do you think people don't really look into the mental side too much?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we usually copy professionals pretty quickly. Whatever they're doing, we cotton onto and try and do.
Yeah, definitely.
But we haven't really done it with the mental side of the game.
Right.
I think often we're seen as the last resort.
Yeah.
I tend to find probably 50% of my clients have all got a specific problem that they want to fix. They've got the yips or something, and these aren't great for repeat clients.
No.
I've got to be honest.
You're right.
You've got one thing to fix, and if you fix it, you don't see them again.
Yeah.
But that tends to be the view of the amateur golfer, I think, these days. That's what the golf psychologist or the performance coach. That's what they're there to do.
I mean, if you look at a team, you mentioned tour professionals. You look at tour professional, the team that he has around him.
Yeah.
They have their fitness trainer. They have their golf coach. They have their psychologist.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think if you asked a tour player who he'd say was the most important, he'd probably say the latter. I speak so often to people about golf is sort of 5% the game and 95% in the mind. People talk about the toughest shot in golf is the 6 inches between the head.
Yeah.
Yet we don't do enough about it.
Well, I get that constantly. Usually when you're walking down the Forth, somebody will ask you what you do for a living.
Yeah.
And when they find out, first thing that they normally say is, "Oh, well, it's all mental, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And depending on how cheeky I'm feeling, I turn around and either give them the card or say, "Okay, so when did you last practice it then?"
Yeah, definitely.
And they usually go a little bit quiet at that point, but hopefully they realise it's all a bit tongue-in-cheek. But it's true. The golfers don't. They're quite happy to flick the internet on a Friday night before the Saturday medal and pick up a tip that's generic, that's probably got nothing to do with them. Yeah. Will get in the way of any coaching that they've already been doing.
Yeah, we find a lot. We do that a lot. We're unravelling problems people are finding through this mass education that's happening through YouTube channels now.
Yeah, it's all instant. The society that we're living in at the moment, I think, is all instant gratification, isn't it? And if you give somebody something to do, they're not prepared to stick with it long enough to get it in there.
No.
And the internet will no doubt find them a solution to, I'm hitting it fat, I'm hitting it thin, I'm hitting it left,
you just go straight on the channels. How can I stop the shanks? How can I do this? They get an answer straight away. They probably get 50 answers, try all 50 out.
Yeah.
Just before we go in and give a few nice golden nuggets away today, Malcolm, this is a bit of a change for you. You retired at a very young age, obviously.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
You retired early, and you've now spent the last 3 or 4 years specialising in this part of your game. Was that because it interested you and you felt you needed it in your golf?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I sort of lost the reason of why I played golf. It was all score and handicap for me, and I just lost the love of the game, I think. I found that social golf I wasn't that interested in because it didn't count to score and handicap. So I sort of paid that lip service. Quite often my Saturday morning could be gone by the third.
That's quite familiar.
Yeah, and it took me a while to realise that I probably wasn't the pleasant golfer to play with, to be honest, because I became a bit insular, a bit too concentrated on the score, and I played the last few years with me a lot with my dad, and it's one of the things that I regret, that because it was time with my dad that should have been much more enjoyable,
happy times,
and I wasn't really getting there. I was getting quite anxious about my golf.
I mean, isn't it interesting? I'm grateful that you have had this career path, because it's great to be working with you, and for this channel we are intending to do a few episodes on this topic. We've got quite a few good ideas planned, which I'm grateful to be a part of, Malcolm. But for me, selfishly, I need this help as well. So what we're chatting about, and hopefully helping a few golfers out there, I'm going to be looking forward to putting a few things into play and into practice when I get back out on the golf course. Because a golf pro for 30 years now, fallen out of love with the game. I enjoy meeting the members on a Saturday and seeing them all and selling them the bar of chocolate and having a chat about their games. But then if you can recall in the last 6 months how many times I've put the clubs on the back and had a wander out, it hasn't really happened. So for me, again, selfishly, I'm going to look for a few little nuggets myself, which will just reignite my passion for the game. We're going to hopefully help a lot of you. The key here is we aren't playing golf for the next 6 or 8 weeks, unfortunately. But we can do a few things, and you can certainly give some great information on things that everyone can try at home before we get back up and running. Just one thing I will say, if you are subscribing to the channel already, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and welcome back. If you don't subscribe, well, I'd love it if you gave us a little hit that subscribe button and gave us a thumbs up as well. If we get 100 likes today on this video, or 100 likes for this video, Malcolm's very kindly offered to give away a free consultation with him, and during the modern times now and challenging times we're in, it will be over Zoom, so we can do it globally as well. You have to wait till the end of the video to see that giveaway, and we'll have a little look at that.
I'd love to see some golfers just get back to enjoying it. You come across a lot of gloomy golfers. You walk onto the first tee and all you hear is, oh, this could go anywhere. I haven't played for 2 weeks, I haven't warmed up.
So you were with me when I last played then.
They've already put themselves in a fairly gloomy position to start what is their hobby and their passion and is meant to be fun. And it would be nice just to reignite a bit of that fun and enjoyment in a few people.
One kind of thing we've discussed many a time is, as a golf coach, I instruct, I give information, and I try and control the amount of information I give out, certainly when I'm giving a one-to-one lesson. But inevitably you get a bit excited and the client wants more, and a client can go away with 2 or 3 thoughts, 2 or 3 swing thoughts, and I try and keep it as minimal as possible, but they do. But then they add the 50 thoughts they've picked up on YouTube the night before, the 3 playing with them on the Saturday morning have their input,
have their chip in, absolutely.
So there's a lot of clutter, a lot of information, and it's quite debilitating. So is that something we can have a little look at?
Absolutely. So I like to, whenever you're talking to a player, I like to understand what their process is. And by a process, I don't mean a choreographed full dance routine. And,
we can work on that.
Everybody's different, and you need to fit with their personality. Their process needs to fit with the personality. But whichever way you end up going, I do like to break it down into the 3 compartments. So you've got your pre-shot. There's a concept around which is the think box, play box. So pre-shot, think box. Then you've got the
just goes think box, play box. Just let me think about that. So you're physically or literally putting yourself in a box for when you're thinking, and then I guess when you step onto the tee or step over the line to hit the ball, that's your play box. See what? We're right near the second tee here. Let's go and let's put ourselves in a situation on the second tee, and as if we're going to hit that tee shot. And you talk me through the process as if I'm, we're that person.
Absolutely. Cool.
Okay, so now we're over on the second tee, and we're going to dive a bit deeper into this think box, play box idea, and I really do. It does resonate with me, and I do quite like the idea. So can you just explain a bit about? We're on the second hole here at St Anne's Links. We've got a tee shot to play. Just go through the process of that think into play?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So we're gonna first up, we're going to engage the left-hand side of the brain. So we're going to bring all the analytics into it. And there's a fair bit of wind coming off today, so you'd want to be setting it out over the right-hand side if you were going to hit a draw. You might struggle to hold a fade into this, but you might choose. But all those are decisions and thoughts that are going on in the left-hand side of the brain before you decide which club you're going to pull, and you're going to hand it over to the right hand side of the brain, which is the one that's going to execute it. Now, in doing all this, what this does is engages your whole self. You engage all of the senses, because you need all of the senses to hit a golf shot. It's not just around a swing, it's around your feel, it's around your sight, your smell, the noise,
balance.
It's all of your senses that get involved, but all of that is over in the right hand side of the brain. So what I like to do is make all those decisions, get all the analytics right, but then when you hand it over with a good proper picture. What do you want that right hand side of the brain to execute? What's the task that you've given it? And it's got to be a reasonable task as well. If the task that you're handing over is something that you're not confident that you're going to be able to do, that's when you start to introduce anxiety and fear and concern about the outcome. What you've got to give it is you've got to give it something reasonable. So ask yourself the right golf questions when you're in the think box. Give yourself the right golf answer and come out with a shot that you're able to hit. Because then the right hand side is going to be much more comfortable executing the task that you've given it. If you said, I want you to hit a 300-yard draw, Mal, and just finish behind that bunker on the left, I'll start twitching a little bit. And my subconscious will take over when I move in there, because it knows that that's not in there. And it will try and compensate for that. I mean, it will try and make some funky move that will help me do that. It won't help me at all, because you ended up creating a conflict between what your subconscious thinks is how you do it, and your conscious mind, which is what you're trying to do. And the last thing you want is any conflict in there. You want something straightforward and achievable that it can do.
You've got to be realistic then, really, with your expectations.
Absolutely.
So I'm stood here, I'm going to put myself in a situation, I've seen the tee shot, I can see the wind off the right, I know what club I'm going to use. I want to make sure when I stand there and play the shot, I've got a good positive visualization of the shot, but a realistic one.
Absolutely,
not something that I'm expected to hit that 300 yard draw.
No.
You know, I hit it 250 if I'm lucky. But one thing that's kind of thinking in my back of my mind here, there's a lot going on. You know, there's going to be some slow play warriors out there be saying, blimey Dan, if you're stood doing that, it's going to take forever. That happens in 5 or 6 seconds, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, a lot of people will be doing it unconsciously. But by doing it unconsciously, you start making wrong decisions, you start making the wrong calls. You don't give the right hand side of the brain the picture and the task and the details that it needs to be able to do it for you. So there's no need for it to take any great time. But if you ask yourself the right questions and you hit the right golf shot, you'll save time over.
Of course you will. You're
in the long run.
So kind of pre-shot, then playing the shot. Then after the shot. I mean, quite often I see, and we all see golfers, and they'll hit a shot, they don't even watch where the ball goes, pick the tee peg up, throw the club back the bag, kick the ground, have a little mutter to themselves how rubbish they are. And that's just me speaking. What could we do after the shot? What would you suggest there?
Well, I like the concept of the play box, think box and the play box. I like sticking another part on the end of it, which is the caddy.
Okay.
So the other way of looking at it is caddy, player, caddy. Caddy being the think box, player being the play box, and then you drop back into the caddy mode. So all you can do after you've hit a shot is learn from it. You can't do anything else, but it will give you some clues. I mean, okay, we're on the tee here, so you won't get a divot, but if you're hitting an iron shot, have a look. Have a look at what it can tell you. You need to make sure that you give yourself your best opportunity to pick up any information that the course is going to give you, and the environment and the surroundings are going to give you. So if you're hitting an iron shot, you can see where your ball is. Just have a look at where it is in terms of anything else around you, because then you make sure that you stay in your golf posture. That'll do two things when you complete a shot. It'll help you complete your golf shot, but it will also provide you with a bit of information because you've stayed in your posture. You know where you were. Where is that divot? Where's it bottomed out? Which way is it facing? Left, right? Have you actually caught it okay? take whatever it can give you, because then that allows you to be your own coach, caddy a little bit on the golf course. You get a bit of information. If you're busy running around like John Cleese thrashing around
not
at the car,
paying attention,
then you've got no chance.
And to be fair, that information that you can get there, I want that. So as your coach, for example, and you come off the golf course and say, how have you got on today, Mal? And you're like, well, not so good, didn't really, it's some good shots, some bad shots. If I say, yeah, but what were your divot shapes?
Absolutely.
Oh, I don't know, I wasn't looking at them.
Yeah.
But if you turn around and go, oh, my divots were all left, or my divots were heavy, my divots were early, they were before the ball, you're already giving me an opportunity to help you, quite simply, for your next round of golf or for the next time you practice.
Absolutely, because
so it works two ways.
Yeah, you can give quite simply, well, if that's happening to you again, try this. So then if you do it, you find that you're doing it again next time you play, you've got something that you can put in play, rather than just fumble your way through the next 3.5 hours, not really knowing what it is that you're doing. The amount of people that say, I just don't know really what to do to change it. I know it's bad, but there's a bit of self-help that you can do.
Definitely. So when you're out on the golf course, we're gonna kind of have a little sum up today now. When you're out on the golf course, first of all, try and pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Try and separate, do your thoughts, go into that play box and play the shot, but make sure you communicate correctly between the sides of the brain.
Engage all your senses in doing it. That's the thing. If you just
that's
pull
visualization is engaging.
Visualization is huge.
Feeling the wind.
Yeah. The more information that you can give that right hand side of the brain that's going to execute the shot, the better position you are to hit a good one. Brilliant. If you just pull a club out and walk in and hit it, don't be surprised if you continue to get the results that you're currently getting.
Keep doing the same things and expecting different results. Insanity.
I mean, if they're great already, carry on doing them. Yeah. But that caddy element at the end of it, it starts to take emotion out of it as well.
Yeah.
So I've used the John Cleese metaphor before, but if you drop straight back into your caddy mode, then your emotion does tend to stay a bit more level, because you're just looking at facts, and people find facts a lot easier to keep on an even keel than emotion. They're
not blaming themselves, are they? You see these tour players, they'll blame the caddy, they'll take away the responsibility.
Absolutely.
So you can separate yourself into a caddy and a player.
Well, that's that idea that they use. We're probably drifting off into another one now, but that idea where they're blaming something else, it's all about not giving any great level of importance to anything that goes wrong. So that's what they'll tend to do, because when you start creating memory boxes and the like, you don't want to be remembering things. If you give things great importance, they come higher in the memory box.
I think we're kind of just broaching into our next episode there. So hopefully you've enjoyed what we've put together today. This is the first episode in this series. Malcolm, again, always enjoy speaking to you. I can speak to you for hours. You unlock things in my brain all the time, so thank you for that. I'm sure, again, people would appreciate it. I'd love it if you gave us a thumbs up. Get us over 100 likes, and there's going to be a nice giveaway from Malcolm, which you mentioned earlier, which will be a consultation with him through Zoom. We can organise that very, very simply. You just need to put a comment below as to why that would benefit you. I think that's about it from us today.
Cool. Oh, it's good. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice out here. Please stay safe. It won't be too long now, hopefully, before you're back out on the golf course. As you can see today, we're just having a walk and a chat. However, how tempting does that look down there, Mal? We could fancy a whack down there. It's still a bit chilly today, but we'd be out, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Well, you certainly would.
Absolutely.